everyone, I'm Jessica Lancaster with that hashtag show. I'm here today with Neil Berger, who directed The Marsh King's Daughter. Thanks for talking with me today.
Hi, Jessica.
Hi. So without delving too deep into spoiler territory, The Marsh King's Daughter definitely has its share of twists and turns. As a director, how do you approach building that mystery and the intrigue for the audiences?
Well, in a way, that's the best part is kind of constructing that sort of that narrative architecture and figuring out, what you need to tease in the beginning to kind of give people the right idea or the wrong idea to something, and or what don't you need? What can you withhold, and what people's expectations are, and so that's all about human nature, really. And that's what's fascinating about being a filmmaker is human nature when you're just dealing with actors, but also human nature in dealing with, like, the expectations of the audience. If you show something, people think one thing. And if you show it in a different way, they might actually think, oh, well, it's the opposite. That's not true, whatever it is. So it's really interesting playing with that. And sometimes you try something out and you're like, oh, wait, that's completely different. And then you shift things. But that's kind of the great experiment of filmmaking.
Absolutely. Did you have any like big shifts or surprise changes while you were filming this one?
I'm trying to think. I don't think so. I think the real trick with this story was creating, it's not a kind of a typical thriller where it's like the bad guy's coming back to the guy that we hate is now coming for us. In fact, she loves her father, and she feels like the time her childhood with him was the happiest time of her life. And even though she knows now that he deserves to be in prison, and all of that, she still can't deny her experience that she had as a child, which was magic. And so it's complicated. And to me, that makes the thriller all the more interesting, where you are sort of with the character and feeling what that character is feeling.
Now, looking at The Marsh King's Daughter as a whole, do you have a scene that stands out to you as one that you're maybe most proud of?
Well, to me, I like those scenes in the marsh at the end where she's tracking him. And I like sort of the way she's using all of her knowledge from childhood, which, again, as you say, that we seeded in the beginning, how she tracked and hunted and all of that, and how that all comes back to her. And she, uses it and tries to sort of think about like what he's thinking. And, it's this real cat and mouse chase. And I like that a lot. And I particularly like the environment that they're doing it in this bog, kind of up to their thighs and in mud.
What were some of the challenges of filming in that that bog, that marshy area? Because I imagine that was very difficult.
It was tricky. I mean, we were wearing waders. All the crew was wearing, waders up to here, rubber suits the whole time, because we were just like, wet and walking through rivers and things like that the whole time. And so it was grueling, actually, just to get all the equipment there and things like that. We were often like had to transport it an hour up a river and then pull it out of the boats and put it on our backs and hike it in for, 35 minutes or something like that to get. Sometimes we had to have helicopters bring in, the equipment, because there was no way to get it. The helicopters couldn't even land. They had to dangle it from a cable, in these cargo nets and land drop the equipment on a riverbank. And so really tough and really tested everybody. But I think that I think it was all worthwhile in the end.
For sure. Final question. Why should everybody watch The Marsh King's Daughter?
Well, I think people should watch The Marsh King's Daughter if they want to go on kind of a wild, um, you know, thrilling adventure, really. And so it is a thriller and it is kind of a wild ride, but it's also very much an emotional journey. So it has kind of both aspects of it, and I think you really tap into, what the characters are going through. And as I said, the best thrillers to me are the ones where you really are connected with the characters. So the more you're feeling what they're feeling, the more you're, on this ride.
Absolutely, you have to get that emotional investment. All right. Thank you so much for talking with me. That's my
Thank
time. Have a
you.
good day.
Thanks for your questions.